Good evening. 16-year-old quarterback Thomas Harris spent years learning how to beat defenses on the football field for Chequamegon High School. For nearly 2 months, he's instead been in several hospitals hoping to beat something far more serious. It started as a medical mystery that took a turn for the worse just this week. For more on Thomas's story, News Watch 12's Katie Lazinski joins us in the studio. Katie, good evening.
Lane, Thomas left the last football game this season with a concussion. When those symptoms stuck around, he knew something wasn't right. He was diagnosed with an immune system disorder, and just this week, that diagnosis changed to lymphoma.
Take a deep breath.
From his hospital bed,
And again.
far from home, Thomas Harris has a lot of time to think.
Maybe I shouldn't think about it a lot, but I do, how quickly things can change in life, and how it started with a fever at school like 7 weeks ago, and now here I am.
Thomas, who is used to running across a football field, is often confined to his room at Children's Hospital in Milwaukee. Doctors tried to figure out exactly what was going on with Thomas's body.
I think mentally my body is handling it well, but physically I've definitely gone downhill a little bit.
He was diagnosed with HLH a few weeks ago. Essentially, his immune system was working in overdrive and attacking his body.
Because of that, he has these cells that have kind of been activated and are taking over parts of his body.
Dr. Takar is just one of Thomas's many doctors at Children's. They ran a series of tests to try and get Thomas and his family some answers.
We have biopsied, a couple of areas in Thomas, and we were able to see those activated cells. What we're really trying to understand at this point is why those cells are activated.
Doctors gave Thomas chemotherapy and steroid treatments.
The steroids add that extra layer of cushion.
But he still had leg and back pain that worried them.
Being that my blood levels are off, I get tired easy, my hemoglobin is low, so my body's not carrying oxygen everywhere like it should.
Just this week, the diagnosis changed. Thomas has large B-cell lymphoma, the most common type of blood cancer. The doctors will continue to treat it with chemotherapy for 5 to 6 months. That's not the news Thomas and his family wanted to hear, but they're confident in their team of doctors and hope they can get Thomas back to another team back home.
I've always wanted to play college football and make it to the NFL, so that's really something that it seems far-fetched with this whole ordeal, but I still want to do it, and it still keeps me going.
Chequamegon High School and the Park Falls community have organized several fundraisers for Thomas. The details for how to donate can be found on our website, WJFW.com. And coming up tonight at 6, hear more from Thomas and his friends and classmates about how they're helping him through the diagnosis. Lane.
Yeah, battle no 16-year-old should have to face, and certainly not face alone. Katie, thank you very much. Good evening. Thomas Harris became a leader on the football field as quarterback for Chequamegon High School. But now, his friends and classmates in Park Falls are having to become leaders for him. Thomas has been in Milwaukee at Children's Hospital for months now and was recently diagnosed with lymphoma. News Watch 12's Katie Lazinski joins us live in the studio with part 2 of this story. Katie, good evening.
Lane, when Thomas's friends first heard he was sick, they knew they wanted to help. Chequamegon High School has only about 250 students, but students and teachers have already raised hundreds of dollars for Thomas and his family. And they don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Thomas Harris is one of Joe Wagner's best friends.
You just never think that someone close to you is going to get cancer.
Joe and other students at Chequamegon High School have stepped up in many ways to try and help Thomas Harris and his family.
And when we found out he went to the hospital, everyone kind of like, oh, okay, well, we got to be there for Thomas now.
Thomas was originally diagnosed with an immune system disorder called HLH. But this week, that diagnosis changed to large B-cell lymphoma, the most common blood cancer.
When he told me, I just kind of like sank in my chair, and I was like, oh, well, crap. It hit me pretty hard. Like, he's definitely one of my bestest friends ever.
Students and teachers organized fundraisers at school and around town to raise money for Thomas's family. The football team bagged groceries for donations, students had a green out at a basketball game, and now they're doing a Coins for Quarterback challenge this week.
The support, and it's amazing, it really is.
That support makes it possible for Thomas to keep his mind on the important things to him, like football.
Kind of the worry of like when I'm going to be able to get back to doing that, and how that's going to affect my senior season of football is probably the hardest thing on me mentally right now.
It's a physical and mental struggle that Thomas's friends won't let him face alone.
And you want to do everything you can to help that person because you want to see them live and want to see them continue, living their life.
Now that his team of doctors found the right diagnosis, they say he'll receive chemotherapy for the next 5 to 6 months. There are more fundraisers and ways to donate to Thomas's family. There's also a Facebook page where you can see Thomas's progress. All of those details can be found on our website, WJFW.com. Lane.
Hey, just feel for the kid, but know that he's not facing it alone. Katie, thank you very much.